know, the number one thing that strikes me, and I've been studying the four pillars is what they sort of gave me in the last week is in the last week or two is just how to describe the four greatest challenges that humanity is overcoming. And one of them is the economic system, one is the medical system, the government, and religion. And it's fascinating to me because, of course, last night, in the middle of the night, I wake up with this awareness, and now it's making sense of why it started to come in last night, because it was for you. It was for our conversation. It was for understanding. And, the truth is humans, we don't naturally do bad things. And it's hard. It's hard to accept that when bad things happen. And what they showed me is bad things happen only because these four institutions were created.
Hmm.
And when it was such a cool awareness, because if there was no such thing as those four institutions, humans would still be able to self-govern.
Hmm.
We have lost our capacity to self-govern because we're impacted by all of those things that put stress on us and make us become different people. And then it comes down the line. And it comes down, and we're talking like 10, 15, 20, 30 generations this has been going on for. And this is where, for a lot of people, it kind of goes over their head in the sense that they're thinking, why me? And this is the hard part to explain sometimes, in the sense of, I mean, I know, there's a lot of us that we get to that point, and I know you have in your journey where you're like, okay, I understand that this happened for a reason. It happened for me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You can't be at a place where you're helping other humans through it if you haven't gone through the acceptance of that and the awareness. Like,
Completely.
and it's a, process that takes years, and it takes, more courage than anyone will ever understand to go through that internal part. But it's understanding, and they want me to bring awareness to, it's like the paradigm of humanity is broken. Our absolute, like, if you look at energetically the infrastructure that was created for humans to exist within, okay, we were meant to self-govern, which means we all know what's right and wrong, but we make choices, right? And I'm not talking what's right or wrong based on the rules that this person tells us, or this company tells us, or this organization tells us. I'm talking energetically, what's right or wrong. But we make excuses all the time based on something our mind has decided that an experience we need to have. Right? So I'm going to do it because I need to make money.
Right.
I need to do it because if I don't, someone's going to hurt me.
Right.
And so what happens is we end up, this is okay. I've never shared it in this way before. So this is really interesting. We end up training ourselves. And that's really what they're showing me is what you did. You trained yourself to be incredible at execution of tasks that are asked by someone else. So as much as the mind wants to believe it was him that trained you, it actually wasn't, because he gave you the opportunity and you went, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this so well because this is my goal. And your goal was to avoid punishment of any sort.
Right.
And so what they really want me to show you, and they want to shine the light on, like they're just showing, it's like a light from heaven basically on your path, saying your strength came from you. It didn't come from defying him. It didn't come from protecting yourself from him. It came from this is what you wanted, and you did everything you could to make that your reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So it's different than coming from the perspective, like underneath, right? Like a deficit where he did this to me. It's recognition that this human chose to take that path, and this is the path I chose to take. And what I loved the most about what you shared is when you had that feeling, because it is a feeling, when you know someone's mood is shifting, you can feel it. And you know there's the potential for disaster just around that corner. And around the corner is literally a breath away. And you knew how to feel into that feeling. And what, like, that's the core and essence of being human. That's what we were created to do. That's, people always say to me, how do I protect myself? By feeling, because your feelings are never wrong. And what I loved when you were sharing that is it shows your strength and your ability to feel is absolutely incredible. You never lost it once. Even though your emotional side felt battered and it felt taken advantage of and it felt abused, your instincts were never gone. And I want to, like, it's like applaud you in the sense that in the face of adversity, you stuck with feeling. Whereas most people will stop feeling because they want to numb everything. And your willingness to survive, yes, but more, it's like you had this knowing that where you were going was more important than what this person was bringing into your path.
Yeah, I really feel that. And I'll tell you that growing up, I was literally name called by my family members who weren't being abusive. They thought they were being funny. Telling me what a crybaby I was, why I was so sensitive, why I was right. So like everything always had to be so emotional. And like I really was told the message from everybody around me that me being highly emotional, highly sensitive was a terrible quality to have. And now here I am, a few decades later,
It's your sweet
literally
spot.
this is my business. I teach people how to develop these qualities within themselves. And I now completely own it as my greatest superpower that comes organically and naturally for me because I had such an intense training ground to develop that at a really, really high volume. And that I had the capacity to do that at such a young age. Now I can look back on that and say, what a gift that training ground was for what I get to do now with others. But yeah, it was a long journey to get to that place, because when you really think it's the worst thing about you and everybody around you is reflecting that back to you, you start to shut those pieces of not necessarily numbing, but at least but masking, like not showing that, because it felt like, well, if I cry now, I'm just gonna be called a crybaby, versus like, this is very emotional and it's appropriate for me to allow myself to have feelings about it.
Right? Yes. It's fascinating